Good evening, everyone. I'm Charan, the moderator for today's debate. I, on behalf of HDC, Hyderabad Debating Community, welcome you all to our sixth debate. Let's cut to the chase and get started with our debate. The debaters have been made cognizant of the rules and timings for the debate, but I shall reiterate them for the benefit of the audience attending this debate for the first time. So the motion for today's debate is a vegan lifestyle is better than a meat eating one. So because I'm a smart moderator, I've asked all these 6 judges that are present in this meeting room to vote beforehand. So the initial poll of the judges has been taken. And so this is how the debate is going to happen. Before the debate starts, I'm going to do a flip of a coin. And this flip of coin is going to help decide which team is going to speak for the topic and which team is going to speak against the topic. The team that wins the toss gets to decide either of two things. The first thing, it can decide what side it wants to talk on, or it can decide the order, whether it wants to go first or go second. So once the coin toss is done, we'll get to know who which team is going to be the proposition team, and we'll get to know which team is going to be the opposition team. So our debate is going to have 3 rounds. The first round is the introduction round, the second round is interjection round, and the third round is the conclusion round. And this is how introduction round, interjection round, and conclusion round are going to happen. During the introduction round, give me a moment. During the introduction round, 2 people from each team will get to speak. During the interjection round, there's a mistake here. Cut me some slack. I'm sorry. There are going to be 3 people from each team. And by that, I mean every person from every team will be a part of the interjection round. And during the conclusion round, only 1 person from each team will get to speak. Once this thing is done, okay, so here it is. I'm sorry. Once all the 6 debaters speak for twice, we will have a Q&A segment. And in this Q&A segment, the audience, that is you people, will get to ask questions. One team can be asked at a maximum of 2 questions. So after that thing is done, we will have a fact checker report. The fact checker is going to tell if there are any distorted facts in the arguments, concluding rounds, or any of the other rounds from the debater's side. Once that thing is done, once the Q&A round is done, and once the fact checker round is done, I will ask judges to vote again. And after the second voting is done, I am going to calculate the swing of the vote, and this swing of the vote is going to help me decide which team is going to be the winning team. And now I'll just reiterate the timing rules. So this is for the introduction round. After the first 1.5 minute is done, the debaters will be shown a green card. After 2 minutes, you will be shown a yellow card. And at the end of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, you will be muted. This is for the introduction round. And interjection round, after the end of the first 2 minutes, a green card will be shown. After the end of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, a yellow card will be shown. And after 3 minutes have elapsed, you will be muted. And the conclusion round, you'll be shown a green card at the end of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, yellow card at the end of 3 minutes. And once 3 minutes, 30 seconds get elapsed, your audio will be muted. So that is about the debate. So let's get started with the debate. We have 2 teams here. Team A has Debashish, Ajit, and Lasya. Team B has Charit, Vijayan, and Saishudan. Team A's captain is Debashish, and Team B's captain is Saishudan. Saishudan, I'm flipping the coin, please.
I'll call for heads.
Okay. Okay, heads it is.
We'll oppose the motion.
Okay, you'll oppose the motion. So Team A, Debashish, what's the order that you want the debate to happen in?
We'll go second.
Okay. So Saishudan, you are going to oppose the motion. Is that right?
Yes. It is the innate nature of humans to eat meat. Humans have eaten meat for an estimated of 2.6 million years. A Harvard research about human diet and evolution says that eating meat helped us human beings develop a proper size for our brains. That was possible for early human beings because of the animal protein that they had through eating meat, right? Which means that humans likely wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for meat eating. We evolved to have meat as part of our diet. Now, if you say that meat eating is worse than vegan diet, then I would say you are questioning your own existence and your own evolution. Let me shed some light on the implications of vegan diet as well. Some people assume vegan meals are automatically or by default are completely healthier than meat eating and dairy based options. However, that's not always the case. A balanced diet is always a healthy diet. Eating a moderate amount of fish, meat, and dairy products along with fruit and vegetables and pulses gives us the required vitamins and required minerals, fatty acids, and other things that we need to stay healthy. Research does suggest that vegans have a higher risk of heart stroke, possibly due to the vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 again is something that we get only through animal food and not by any other means. And hence, we cannot possibly eliminate animal food from the human diet. Humans have eaten, are eating, and will be eating meat because meat eating lifestyle is better than a vegan one. Not just for the sake of satisfying your own taste buds, but also for nourishing yourself with the required proteins and vitamins that we need as human beings. Back to the moderator.
Now I'd request the Zoom master to please spotlight the person that's going to speak from the proposition team, proponent 1.
Thank you, moderator. I can easily recommend a vegan diet against a meat-eating lifestyle. Food is fuel for the body, not only for the tongue or the mind. Our ancestors had to hunt to survive, but that was a time when the term survival of the fittest was apt. Today, we are much more civilized. We lived in a much more developed world. And today we have choices. We have options to choose from. We can follow a plant or fruit-based diet, which is a vegan diet. If you add dairy products to it, that becomes vegetarian. And if you eat red meat, poultry, and fish, that is non-vegetarian, non-veg lifestyle. But we also, our biology and anatomically, we are designed to eat plant-based diet. The proponent team, my opponent earlier said that it is the innate nature for us to consume meat, but that is not the case. If you'll see, our jaw structure and teeth structure is very similar to that of herbivores. Carnivores have long canine teeth whose purpose is to break down the meat pieces and swallow them whole. That's why carnivores can only move their jaws up and down, but whereas humans and herbivores can move it up and down as well as sideways, because we need to grind our food so that we can break down into smaller morsels of food and it will help to digest. If you're still not convinced, then let us go much deeper. Let's see how the food travels. Our intestine tract is much longer than the carnivore animals. Carnivore animals need a shorter intestine or shorter intestinal tract for the food to pass, because meat starts rotting very quickly and they have acids and their stomach can easily digest raw meat. Whereas herbivores have very long intestines because we need our food to travel longer, and the vegetables and plants stay much fresh as compared to meat. Hence, they can make that travel through our longer intestine much easily, and we get to absorb the nutrients and the other beneficial aspects of plant-based diet much more easily. So
thank you, my dear moderator, and good evening, my dear friends. Today, I'm here to talk about the benefits of eating meat, though I was at one point in time vegan person. I'll tell you why I converted into a person who eats meat and what benefit it gives. And I'll talk about two more research points which I showed, which I can hopefully prove why meat diet is better. So my two debaters who spoke before me, they talked about a little bit of history of how we evolved as a meat eating species. Let me tell you, we are not just carnivores, we can even digest vegan food as well. But then why do we need to eat it? Eat meat food? Our body needs proteins to build mass of physical mass. So let me tell you one thing, that I myself is a dialysis patient, and one of the doctors looked at my weight loss and kept saying, you're losing a lot of albumin, and suggested me to start eating egg as well as fish if possible. Why is that? Because when we eat protein, it gets digested into two parts. One is albumin, which is required for building the physical mass of the body. Other one is a byproduct, which is urea and creatine, which has to go away from the body. Unfortunately, for kidney patients, it doesn't go out, right? It's a poison. So we need to eat some protein which has high quality of protein, high quality of albumin, and lower contents of the byproducts, what I call as urea and creatine. In that way, it is going to be only fish and egg. And now other benefit for that is vitamin B12, which we get from meat, which reduces the chances of becoming anemic and increase the ability to create more red blood cells in the body, right? So that is the second point why meat eating is very good. And there's one more, which I just looked up. I was surprised by nature. People who eat only vegan diet has a tendency to have low memory power because it affects the development of brain cells, vitamin B12, right? So vitamin B6 and B12 both together. There's a BBC article on why vegan diet is dangerous to your memory. With these thoughts, I'll give it back to the moderator because there's a lot more to talk about on why meat is good.
One of the team members from the proposition team says that food is fuel not only for the tongue but for the mind. So I assume that he's talking both about the vegetarian and non-vegetarian food, because he did not specify that only vegan food is a food for the tongue and mind and not any other things. So I also heard an argument citing the jaw structure and teeth structure of human beings, right? So I think they forgot to research about the kind of teeth that human beings have. There are also canine teeth that we have, right? The similar teeth that lions, foxes, wolves, dogs have, right? So those teeth are specifically made to bite through the flesh, bite through the meat and eat it. Though we have it in a smaller size, but still we have it, right? So why are you neglecting the fact that we are made to eat meat and not neglect it, right? So I think the proposition team did not do any research there. And also I heard one of the proposition team saying that meat eating is harmful for the environment. Why are we not considering that point? Let me tell you, there is 44% of all the anthropogenic nitrous oxide emissions are because of deforestation, right? There are 44% of the land, 44% of the deforestation is being done to raise raise livestock, right? So you are doing deforestation uh, to eat the plant extracts, but you're not letting the other animals leave the trees, eat the plant extracts and other things that come from the nature. So you are in support of saying that meat eating is having a negative impact on the environment. You are having all this deforestation and such things, which again is affecting the climate change and all those points. So in support of one thing, you're neglecting the other thing, which is also equally important, right? So I think the proposition team needs to do a proper research around these points as well before they can say that we do not use soaps and other things which are made of animal and animal extracts. How do you think, do you make sure, and how genuine are those products uh, to just say that we do not use such things? How can you trust the brands that they do not include any animal extracts? I think the proposition team needs to do a bit of research from that standpoint also. And with this, back to the moderator.
All right. Thank you, moderator. Now, the opposition team started their argument by saying that it is innate nature of human to eat meat. I, in my introduction, countered that by bringing up the jaw structure. Again, my well-versed opponent countered me, saying that we need to do more research. So they are saying that we have canine teeth, dogs, tigers, carnivores have canine teeth. But can they actually, if we place both the animals and humans side by side, can they look at both the jaw structure and say that, okay, these two are very different, like these two are very same? Because it's hard for me to believe that. Maybe it's just the nomenclature, don't you think, that the hind teeth of both the animals are called canine teeth? But okay, that's fine. I'll let that go. After that, when I was hearing this argument, I was expecting that they will also touch on my point where I had mentioned anatomy, wherein how our stomachs and intestines are structured to digest either meat or plant-based food. And not very surprisingly, they didn't touch on that because they didn't want to go that deep. Jaw structure, it's basically there to break down the food, make it into smaller pieces so that our digestive tract and intestines can absorb the nutritious part from the food. And that is where the main science lies. Like I already explained, our intestine structure and stomach anatomy is very similar to herbivore, because we are supposed to digest plant-based food and not meat. Animals have very strong acids in them, which helps to digest raw meat. Our acid inside the stomach are very weak, and they are suitable only to digest plant-based food. Fine. Now, coming to the second argument, I heard one of the opposition team members saying that there was research by BBC where non-vegetarians, people who don't eat non-veg food, have a risk of memory loss. So did they actually surveyed Shakuntala Devi, the human computer ever? Because Shakuntala Devi has been a vegetarian, never eaten meat in her entire life, starting from childhood. She has been a vegetarian. And even when she used to go to America or some other foreign country to participate in competitions, memory-related competitions or brain-related activity, she used to survive only on non-veg veg substitutes for non-veg food. So I think, you can say that, okay, this thing happened, but that is not ultimately true, because we can put out examples of people who are on a vegan diet and they have achieved a lot in their life. So yeah, with that, I'd like to conclude my.
Thank you, moderator, and good evening once again, my dear friends and lovely debaters. I like the argument when my previous debater spoke about Shakuntala Devi. Let me first debut that first. I don't know if you have researched tribal people living in this planet. Masai Mara is one tribe that lives in Africa that lives daily food only on non-veg. They eat meat, they drink milk, and they drink blood. Eskimos living in Greenland, their main source of food is fish and fish-related products. They eat sea blubber, which is high in omega-3 fatty acids. Just do a research. They are very healthy generation for people living for generations together, right? So when you're talking about people who have a lower intelligence, Now, I'm not talking about one person, I'm talking about majority. The research from BBC is what it speaks about. If you Google a diet called How Vegan Diet Could Affect Your Intelligence from BBC, you will definitely get information of why they recommend to have a balanced diet with non-veg. The third point I want to say is we are not herbivorous. Neither are we carnivores that we have to live. We are living in urban cities. We are omnivorous. Just look at what's the difference between omnivores. Our digestive system is capable of digesting both plant-based as meat-based food. So we are omnivorous. Let's when you talk about the anatomy of our body, let's keep that also in mind. We are good enough to digest meat food. The question here is meat food really required, or can it be avoided? I would say it is required. Why is it required? I've already given you in my introduction, but I want to review a few more points that talked by one of the members saying about supplements, right? So why can't we use supplements instead of eating milk? And the question I want to ask is, can we really give supplements to children? Underage children who are taking supplements, it can be proven to be deadlier. Look at health.chalk.org. You'll find how deadly it is to give vitamin supplements to children, because overdose of vitamin is really, really, really harmful, right? And we are talking about, one second, what is the other thing I want to say about is talking about vegetarian food. Now, 90% of the food which vegans really eat is preservatives, and balance 10% is sugar. Think about it. Preservatives, sugar, is it safe? And you are telling us don't be meat eaters, meat purely vegetarians. Come on, we need to have safe, good diet. And I feel even meat is safe enough, because I can frozen meat can stay longer than frozen vegetables. Think about it, my dear friends. Back to you, moderator.
Mr. Moderator, I would like to agree with the opposition, but then we both would be wrong. Coming to the points that the learned opposition members have been talking about, they focus on the physiology or the jaw structure, but they forgot to mention one important point. We are capable of having a grinding motion with our jaws. As you can see, that's what even a cow or any other herbivore animal would do. They eat the food, then there's a grinding motion. We are able to move our jaw movement left to right also, because we are supposed to grind our food and then take it in. Whereas the carnivores have to cut that food and they just have to make smaller pieces, and that's why they need the canine teeth. Okay, and the digestive portion, a larger part of the digestion process happens in our mouth. Just keep a few grains of raw rice in your mouth. Within a few seconds, that raw rice will start tasting sweet. The reason for that is it breaks down. There are enzymes in our saliva which breaks down the sugar, and that's where the digestion process really starts. That doesn't happen with carnivores. That is enough proof that we are designed by the good Lord to eat only vegetarian food. My learned opposition member even helped us by giving us the example of the Masai Mara tribe. Obviously, they are living prehistoric times. What else would they do? Just like our ancestors were hunting, they are also hunting. You have given us proof, thank you, that if you were in the prehistoric times, you were supposed to eat meat. But we are civilized now. We have a choice. We have a choice, and because of that choice, let me tell you very frankly, the non-veg, there are 85% of people of the 7.5 billion population on this Mother Earth eats non-veg. And one of the main conditions, the medical condition most of them face is NAFLD. Now, NAFLD is a health condition that can worsen to cancer and shall need a liver transplant. Almost 1 billion people who eat non-veg are estimated to have NAFLD. This rich animal protein, because meat is rich in animal protein, causes low-grade disturbances to body homeostasis, glucose metabolism, and disturbs the acid balance. Not only this can cause heart disease and chest failure. Friends, do we want this kind of a lifestyle for ourselves? I hope not. I sincerely request all of you to go towards veg eating lifestyle, which is more healthy for all of us. Back to you.
Right. I'm going to take both the arguments, starting with Ajit first. Ajit spoke about Maasai people. Please stop assuming that everyone from Africa is an ancient person. Maasai people are still existing. And in 2019 census, there are 1.2 million people of Maasai tribes who are still living in Kenya. That means they are still living on a diet which is not vegan and which is fully meat-based. Second, let me take Debashish. Buddy, why are you attacking my teammate personally, right? You forgot that there are two members who are opponents of yours who are ready to take you and your facts. You spoke about jawline and our intestines, and just the fact that our jawline and the intestines are designed to digest only vegan food does not necessarily mean that we should go for a vegan diet, because the problems are number one, if it's an underdeveloped nation, it makes no sense for this country to invest in veganism because there are so many aspects of livelihood for these countries that need to be taken care of than to invest in the kind of diet that these populations take. Second, 84% of the plants are non-human edible. The majority, again, this again goes back to when one of the opponents, one of the proponents said, spoke about environment. Okay, let's talk about environment. Majority of what is fed to livestock is not edible by humans. Okay, by feeding this to livestock, what we are essentially doing is converting this non-edible food into food that is edible so that we can have it. What exactly is happening is that 43.2 billion kg of inedible stuff is upcycled by the livestock into healthy meat and protein that keeps an entire population away from malnourishment. Okay, and then let's keep talking about environment. Okay, okay, to raise crops, fresh water is used for irrigation crops, not normal water, fresh water. Do you know what kind of water the other livestock requires? They require something called green water. This water it comes in the form of rain and stuff. It's not fresh water, but for plants, you need fresh water. Irrigation requires 70% of fresh water reserves in the world goes to irrigating crops, right? And again, let's talk about Shakuntala Devi. Why are you citing one example? If Shakuntala Devi was a part of that research, she would have merely been a data point. She would have been just a higher standard deviation from the mean. Okay, don't cite single data points and say this person is there, this person has done it. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a research is done on thousands of people. Okay, so one data point does not necessarily mean that veganism is good. I mean, again, if you want to cultivate crops, 2/3 of the land in the world is marginal land, not fit for cultivating crops. That is my points. Those are my points. And back to you, moderator.
Thank you, moderator. I pity the entire opposition team talking about research. Oh my God, look at the distorted facts that coming on the table who are talking about our research. Do you even know the amount of carbon dioxide and methane you guys are releasing into the nature? Do you understand to what extent you are damaging the nature? Talking about livestock feeding, God, where are you getting that food from? The amount of food that you feed animals, you can feed 8 billion people. And you guys are talking about feeding. Where do you think deforestation, soil erosion, what kind of research was it? Beautifully distorted fact. So where are you going to rear animals? In the air? So you're going to bring food and feed them in the air. You cut down forests to take animals to the forest, get them grass, and this is the whole deforestation is the whole reason for rearing animals and not cultivating plants. And people are talking about overdose vitamin and children are not getting milk. Do you even realize that when a woman gives birth to a child, she can give that guy or that girl or the baby milk? Do you realize women can do that? We are not feeding them animal milk. This is a beautifully distorted half-present fact by the opposition team member. People are talking about vegan products. Do you even know that vegan products are really reachable? It does not take much time. Look at the amount of fat that you bring in curd. Look at the amount of fat that you bring in all the dairy products. Do you think it is good for health? It is the whole reason for cardiovascular diseases in human being. Now let me talk about another point. The beautifully distorted, according to British American Dietetics Association, meat, dairy, eggs are the whole reason for arthritis. Do you realize that this point you forgot, and you are talking about our research? Wow, amazing. Tribes are eating that food because they do not have access to dairy products or something which they can have. They are not aware of what they should eat. Only if you educate them on what it is to eat vegan food and stay healthy, they will realize that what they are doing is wrong. Because it is in their blood to kill animals, they are being brought up that way. It is responsibility of us to tell people that we have to be kind enough to animals because they suffer pain. Someone was talking about my research of how what kind of shampoo and soap I use. Oh my god, if I didn't know, why would I even tell that to you, Sudan? Like seriously, I use soaps and shampoos which do not have animal products. Talking about Charith, who brought it beautifully distorted facts about irrigation, cultivation, I want my honorable opposition team to realize that
Look, so it's important to understand how facts are presented, right? So let me take one big fact that was presented by Lasya. She said 8 billion people can be fed in place of what is fed for the animals. Again, I've already spoken about this, right? What is fed to cattle is essentially grass. Who eats grass? Oh my God. Okay, next, let's talk about the fact that she's repeatedly telling us that our facts are distorted. You wasted 30 seconds to 1 minute of your time in telling us that our facts are distorted. We've already submitted our sources, which will be checked. You might as well have spent that on, getting back with better facts. Let's talk about uh, fat. She spoke about curd and how that brings fat. This is certified as healthy fat. People who even go on diets take fat in the forms of curd and ghee, which is healthy fat. It is digestible fat. She spoke about how women produce milk, but the lactating period does not go on forever. And when a child is born, the child is used to having the milk that is produced by the mother. But now that the child has adapted this form of food, which is milk, that has to be continued even when the lactating period is done. That is the only way for that to continue. The only way for the child to get the right nutrients and proteins is through milk, which comes from cows. Okay, again, let's all right, I'm gonna quickly end. So I think my proponents should really hear themselves out clearly. So I'd like to quote our prime minister and my favorite leader, Narendra Modi here. He said, "मैंने कहा कि hypocrisy की भी सीमा होती है." Okay. So they spoke about how it is immoral to kill an animal. Okay. How it is immoral to kill an animal, bloodshed and all of that. They cannot justify. So why can't they justify the act of species crisis that is caused by deforestation or agriculture for agricultural purposes? If animal culture is causing global warming, let me remind you that slash and burn farming has destroyed way too many forests. Delhi pollution, the major causes for Delhi pollution is first industry, second transport, and the third is the fire and the slash and burn farming that comes from Punjab and Haryana's type of farming. That is slash and burn farming. That is the pollution that also contributes to Delhi. And Delhi is number one in pollution. You already know about it. So I'd like to end by saying that with our rightly researched facts, which have already been presented to be checked, we strongly continue to oppose the motion. And over to you, moderator.
Okay, Mr. Moderator. Gentlemen, let's all realize one thing. Human beings are the topmost creation of the good Lord. Okay, I already shared my fellow members have already shared with you the logic as to how humans are designed to eat the vegetarian food. The essential question we have to ask is, being the most intelligent creature on Mother Earth, do we have to harm other living creature for our own survival? Let's talk of the logic that my learned opponent team mentioned. Okay, they mentioned that there are certain foods that only can come from animal. I mean, there as for example, there's almond milk as an option to regular milk. There's peanut curd as an option to regular yogurt, and even soya is a very good source of protein. Not just that very rich animal protein causes NAFLD and diseases like that, which requires a huge infrastructure for providing health insurance and God knows what not. There's a huge thriving industry in US where there are high costs of insurance purely because there's such a lot of people who are facing such health hazards because of bad eating habits. 85% of the Western world eats non-veg based food. 85%, mind you. And obviously they have a huge amount of people who are sick. And the reason because they are sick is because they have a unhealthy lifestyle. There are all these diseases that I already told you about, which includes obesity and heart diseases, chest failure. I can go on and on about that. Friends, food is supposed to become what we are. Whatever food we eat becomes us. If you have a largely non-veg diet, these people, they will become also like that. As my colleague already mentioned, that's not called sattvic food. That is tasmic food. And tasmic food causes stress, anger, and out of anger, you do things which you do not want to do. You are not a human, not supposed to do. Tribals can do it in the Masai Mara tribe because they are not educated. We are supposed to educate them. We are supposed to bring them to civilization, not become tribals like them and start eating meat. Friends, do you know, because of global warming, because of the high carbon footprint of rearing all this, there's a global warming because of which the Earth's atmosphere already warmed up by 1%. If not reversed soon, Antarctica will continue to melt and sea levels will grow by 3 millimeters every year. There's a potential of flooding most of the coastal cities if this trend is not reversed. We know all this. I am not here to convince you on that. We know what is happening because of global warming. In China, just last week, there are more than 19 countries. Look at the floodlist.com report I have submitted to the fact checker. 19 countries just in the last 1 week have faced flood and flood related destruction. Why is this happening? We are the last generation who can do something about it, and we are first generation who can do something about it. We can start by moving to vegetarian food, vegan food, and move away from meat eating lifestyle. That's the best for the entire human industry. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Debater. Well, yes. So we are going to have a Q&A session now. So it's for the audience now. So if anyone has got any questions to any of the teams, please raise your hand. And by that, I mean the virtual raise hand option that you have here on Zoom. If anyone has any question, please feel free to ask your questions to either of the teams. KK, Krishnakant has a question. Krishnakant, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, thank you, moderator. May I ask my question now?
Your question is to the team?
Proponents.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the proponents told that our jaws are not made to meat eating. So I have one fact and a follow-up question. Human beings started eating meat from 2.6 million years ago. They invented fire 1.7 million years back, and they started eating plants just 1,80,000 years before. So if our jaws are not made for meat eating, then our teeth should be decreased to 12 or 6 count, right? We should not, our body system should change. So how we were able to survive even after eating meat for that many years, if our structure or jaws are not made for meat eating. So can someone answer that question?
Who from
I'd like to
proportion?
take that.
Okay.
I'd like to take that.
Ajit, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. As soon as you start speaking, we'll start timing you.
To the guest who asked this question, please note that we do have the jaw structure that you mentioned about, I mean, what I was telling you from a logic perspective is that our jaw structure is aligned like the herbivores. And that is why by design, we are expected to be a non-meat eating species. That's by design by the good Lord. Okay, now why we not evolved and not lost all the teeth? We have incisors at the front and we have molars at the back. Now that is the entire structure of our jaw, and we are supposed to cut the food, okay, and then digest. In the sense, you're supposed to grind the food in your mouth. The saliva will, the enzyme will break down the sugar. 40% of the digestion process happens in your mouth, and then you gulp down the food. There's a long alimentary canal through which the food will get processed. Okay, so that's how we have been designed, just like the herbivore more so. Yes, we can also consume meat. That is because at the initial part of our when we originated prehistoric times, there was no option but to hunt meat. That doesn't mean, so we have evolved from that. Today we are a thinking, living human being. We are supposed to protect the whole biomass. Do you know 80% of all the life that we have destroyed because of food habits? Yeah, I mean 80% of the plant food, 50% of plant species, okay, and almost 25% of marine life. There's a lot of statistics around how much. Mind you, human beings are only 0.01%, just 0.01% of the entire biomass. Yet our food lifestyle has caused a lot of.
Ajit, I'm sorry. I'm afraid that I'd have to interrupt you here. You're done with your 2 minutes. So yes, that's the first question that was asked to the proposition team by Krishnakant. So the other audience present here, do you have any questions for any of the teams that we have here today? I'll wait for 15 seconds. Yes, Akib, you do have a question?
So I have a question for opposition team.
Yes, please go ahead.
We are all aware that digestive time for all the non-veg items are higher than vegan items. Like when you take fruit, it easily get digested. Like another 1 hour, you'll have all these energies in running in your body. However, when you take meat, pork, beef, it takes a lot of time to get digested fully. It remains in our intestine for a longer period, which kind of gives a burden to your body itself. So how do you counter that in this?
Can I take this?
If your team is okay with it, you
Yeah,
can.
of course. Team, what do you think? Vijay sir?
Go ahead, Charit.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, I'm starting to time you, Charit.
Yeah, sure. See, Akib, the point is, no, you should stop thinking about whether our body is able to take this or not. Fact is, our body is able to take this. I eat meat, I'm still alive. My body is able to take this. There are people who eat meat all the time who still don't even touch vegetables. Their bodies are able to take it. They're alive. So the question is not, I believe that the question should not be around whether our bodies can take it or whether our jawlines are unable to take it or whether our intestinal tracts are unable to take meat. The point should be around whether vegan lifestyle is available for the mass population. The point should be around, is a meat eating diet, is a non-vegan diet inhuman? For many people, milk is easily accessible. If you suddenly stop it, how can you survive, right? What is going to replace milk? If meat, if you say body cannot take meat, if you stop meat, for many people, vegetables are not easily accessible.
So I would now request the fact checker for today's debate, Sakshi, to please unmute herself and obviously turn on her video and give the fact checker's report.
Hi, everyone. Is it okay that I don't?
Yes, cool.
you?
Yep.
Thank you. So I'll start. The first point is it was raised by the opposition sometime early in the debate that B12 is available only in the non-vegetarian diet, but that's a wrong fact. B12 vitamin is available in the vegetarian diet too. The concentration may vary, but it's available. And a couple of examples are fortified soy plus almond milk being one. And then the other example is fortified cereals being the other. So that's one fact. The second one again was raised by the opposition, where you were talking about the canines, just like lions, hippos, and other mammals that we have. So contrary to popular belief, and this is directly taken from Google, human canines are not for tearing and ripping meat. Instead, our ancestors used them to fight male rivals for mating rights. Our teeth are much better suited for starches, fruits, and vegetables, not tearing and chewing flesh. What many refer to as the canine teeth are nothing at all like the sharp blades of two carnivores designed for processing meat. So that's the second fact. The third point is was raised by proposition about the acids that was included in that are there in the stomach. It was mentioned somewhere that it isn't meant to digest meat, but it is particularly only meant to digest a herbivorous diet. But that's not the case. There's a little bit of a check here. It is also meant to digest processed meat. It is not particularly meant to digest raw meat. So there's a difference there. The last point was made somewhere later in the stage of the debate by the opposition about the green water that is being used for raising the livestock. So just a correct definition of green water. Green water is the fraction of rainfall that infiltrates the soil and is available to plants. It includes soil water holding capacity and the continual replenishment of reserves by rainfall. Green water footprint is the water from precipitation that is stored in the root zone of the soil and evaporated, transpired, or incorporated by plants. It is particularly relevant for agricultural, horticultural, and forestry products. Per ton of product, animal products generally have a larger water footprint than crops. The same is true when we look at the water footprint per calorie. So the average footprint, the water footprint per calorie for beef is 20 times larger than that of cereals and starchy roots. So that was the correction in the green water plant usage, green water usage for rearing of livestock versus the plants. That's from my side. Rest all the facts are all right.
So you people have listened to the arguments and counter arguments from both the sides of the debate today. Now I'd like to ask all the 6 judges present in this meeting room to vote using the same link again. Sorry, this is how it was before the debate. There are 6 judges, 5 people were against the motion and 1 person was in favor of the motion. And after the debate, 4 people are against the motion and 2 people are in favor of the motion. So this team gets to be the winning team for today's debate. First of all, you might have had a question while the debate started. Why debate? So this is our answer. The importance of opinion sharing, the importance of objecting assertively, and the importance of respecting others' perspective is central to effective interpersonal communication. But why HDC, you may ask? Well, our vision answers that question of yours. Our vision is to help individuals become better at listening, critically analyzing, and communicating a broad range of ideas with a greater confidence. So that is our vision. So the other thing is that HDC is, we are in the incipient stage now, and we are thinking of starting this thing as a society in the near future.
I think you are starting off something very interesting for Hyderabad. I think this is, as you rightly mentioned, this promotes quick creative thinking when it comes to injections and so on. At the same time, we are maintaining the respect for the other party as well. So I think this is a fantastic skill that people are developing through this forum, and my best wishes for its continued success.
Yes, it's always a joy and pleasure to be part of HTC debates. There is so much that we can learn, new things and things we have already learned. It's always a pleasure to listen to two teams debate about a topic, whether they support it or not. I'm looking forward to many more debates and many more years to come. So wish HTC team all the very best.
No, I was saying that this is the first time I'm attending the HDC meeting, and I can see it's a wonderful format, and all the debaters they're really excellent in their performance. I would like to congratulate both the teams.
Right. So let us wait for the last round. Yeah.
Instead of getting to the point, I think we are getting more confused because both the sides they are putting very valuable the information.
Yes, it's a first experience for me as a debater. Thanks to Ajit to loop me in. I thoroughly enjoyed and learned a lot, especially fact checker. I was amazed. As we speak, I think you are doing a Google. You are faster than Google in searching the facts and pointing out where it could be better. Wonderful, but I really loved the entire theme and the way it is conducted. Congratulations, Charan. I thoroughly enjoyed being a first timer.